Hi, I'm Javon with LEAP, the Free Library of Philadelphia's Literacy Enrichment After-School program. Today I'm going to tell you about Peace Day Philly, as well as what you can do to practice peace and mindfulness at your home or at your library. Let's dive in. For our showcase activity this September, LEAP will be practicing peace. I'll go through a couple of different activities that you can do at your library with young people to help them practice mindfulness and think about different ways that they can understand themselves and their emotions and their feelings. But first, let's talk a little bit about what LEAP actually is. As one of Philly's longest running out-of-school time programs, the Literacy Enrichment After-School program provides free homework assistance, offers hands-on STEAM and humanities programs, that's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, and promotes a love of reading to K-12 youth at libraries throughout the city. LEAP is offered during the school year at no cost, and there is no registration required to participate. And you can find out more by following the link below. LEAP is one of Philly's premier free drop-in programs, and it provides a great service to kids throughout the city. And now let's talk about Peace Day Philly. So Peace Day Philly is the local initiative for the United Nations International Day of Peace, September 21st. That's why we chose this theme. Peace Day Philly encourages activities, programs, and collaboration related to personal, local, and global peace and justice on or around September 21st. Millions of people around the world observe Peace Day, and dozens of organizations participate each year. The United Nations' International Day of Peace is on 9/21, and in Philly, those events are going to be happening between 9/15 and 9/21 in different neighborhoods. This year's Peace Day theme, End Racism, Build Peace. Practicing peace and mindfulness, according to Harvard and the American Psychological Association, reduces stress and anxiety. It increases students' ability to focus and stay engaged. It promotes kindness and self-control. It lets youth reflect on experiences and process their feelings. And it helps students stay on track at school. So this September, we hope to showcase these activities in our libraries and really highlight the benefit of practicing peace and mindfulness. So here are a few different activity ideas that you can do. For children in middle grades, you can practice mindful breathing, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a second. You can make a peace poster or a collage. You can share an act of kindness. This means that they can, for instance, write a note to a teacher or a friend, help someone out with a chore or an errand. Sharing a random act of kindness is an amazing thing that you can do during Peace Day. They can talk about bullying and how they can help those who are being bullied. It's a real issue, and it's important to start the conversation early. Or at the most basic level, they can make an origami crane. You probably already know that origami is a classic crafting activity, but did you also know that it's great for settling the mind? Origami requires hand-eye coordination, it develops fine motor skills, it supports mental concentration, and the crane specifically is the symbol of peace. And for teens, they can create a poem, essay, or presentation related to this year's theme. They can watch films or listen to songs exploring racism and justice. They can write to or tweet at local officials about achieving peace in your community, or discuss cyberbullying in class and how you might be able to fight it. Let's break down just two of these activities. So first, there's the mindful breathing wand. This is a very, very easy activity that you can do with kids in your library or in your schools, and it requires just a pipe cleaner or a chenille stem and about 8 to 12 beads. It takes about 5 minutes to do. So the goal of this activity is by using deep breathing to self-regulate emotions, you can connect with your feelings and promote inner peace. For the mindful breathing wand, you'll want to take one end of the stem and wrap it around itself, making a circle or a knot that closes off the end and stops the beads from falling out. Then you'll want to thread the beads across the stem, leaving enough space for them to slide around later. Close off the other end of the stem by making a shape, kind of like in step one. It can be a circle or a heart or whatever you like. In the pictures at the bottom, it shows hearts. And then with all the beads on one side, slide one bead across the wand as you inhale deeply, and then move another as you exhale slowly. Repeat until all the beads are on the other side. A recommended reading for this is What Does Peace Feel Like by Vladimir Rudinsky. It's a very, very easy read aloud activity, and it includes simple texts and illustrations that portray what peace looks and sounds and tastes and feels and smells like to children all around the world. So let me show you what this breathing wand looks like in practice. Here I am taking a pipe cleaner, and then by grabbing the bottom end, I wrap it around my finger briefly to make a circle, and then tie it off at the end to close it. Next, I start grabbing the beads. In this case, I have 8 of them. And then I slide them onto the stem. I was going for a slight rainbow transition, but some of the colors are a little bit mixed up. Not only can you use these beads for breathing, as I'll show in a moment, but you can use them for affirmations to promote self-validation as well. Each bead can mean something different. As you move them across, you can say things like, I'm kind, I am brave, and I am peaceful. And just the process of threading these as well is a little bit meditative. Now here you see I'm closing it off by making a circle, and then in that circle, I make a small dent at the top that will turn it into a little heart. The heart on the wand is a great visual reminder to check in on your own heart and emotions. How are you feeling today? And how are you feeling after practicing the breathing exercise? But now let's glide them across. First you inhale deeply, then exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, then exhale. And for each glide, you'll want to take just a couple of seconds to move them along. And in fact, this is also akin to another breathing exercise called box breathing. To lengthen the breathing period, you can also hold your breath for a couple of seconds. And here you go. So those are examples of the breathing wands. The one on the bottom uses 12 beads. The fewer beads you use, the longer it'll take them to go across the other side, but of course you can go back and forth with them as well. Another activity you can do is blackout poetry. So this one just requires a scrap page from a newspaper or a magazine, a pencil, and a black permanent marker, or really any coloring tools. The goal of this activity is to relieve stress, improve conceptualization skills, and express creativity by drawing new meaning from a text excerpt. You can see the example on the top here is fully colored and even has a little shark in a boat. And the one on the bottom is a more traditional blackout poem. But the way that it works is you take an interesting page of printed text, something that you're okay with writing on and probably destroying. Then you skim that page for an eye-catching anchor word. This can be the guiding theme of the poem. In the example on the bottom, that anchor word is stars. Read the whole page and use the pencil to circle words or short phrases that are related to that anchor word that you chose. Review your circled words in order and say them out loud, and then erase any circles from words that you actually don't want to use. When it's ready, use a black marker to black out all of the other words, or you can draw or color over them, and you can enjoy your final poem. This can take about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the process of finding your excerpt or just how creative you might want to get. And a really fun book for this one is The Dictionary for a Better World, Poems, Quotes, and Anecdotes from A to Z by Irene Latham and Charles Waters. This one's a little bit more in-depth, but it has different activity and discussion topics on each page. Let me show you what mine ended up looking like. I took an old newspaper, in this case the New York Times, and I looked through it for different articles that seemed interesting or had words that really stood out to me. What captured my attention for this one is the word thrive, and I even bolded it before I got started. So thrive, it was such a powerful word, and I wanted to see what I might be able to do with that. So I started by circling any words that were related to thrive, and then I used the black permanent marker to start to black out everything else and just focus on the main topic. And by the end, my poem turned out to be Thrive. Lovelorn singers, baritones and tenors, booming, capable of an effortless leap, uncontainable, rare. The fun thing about blackout poetry is that the words are already there. You just need to find them. It helps you get in touch with your creative side and really get in tune with your thoughts. Plus, a recent Drexel University study found that 75% of participants who engaged in art for about 30 to 45 minutes, their cortisol levels lowered during that process. The actual hormones in them that were producing stress reduced over time. Overall, there are all kinds of ways that you can create poetry, and a blackout poem is just one way you can do it. And lastly, think about getting involved. So there's going to be a Peace Day event Wednesday, September 21st from 11:20 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. outside of City Hall in Philadelphia. Speakers on the global theme of ending racism and building peace, including Councilmember Helen Jim. There's also going to be a global minute of silence at noon, music, art making, and it'll be a good time. So consider getting out there and supporting your community. As for other resources, there are a ton of books out there about peace, and all of the ones that we have listed here you can actually find at the Free Library. Many of them will be at your neighborhood library closest to you. And we have a few links that you can look at here as well, from peacedayphilly.org, their Peace Day Philly toolkit, and some websites that inspired our activities such as Rock Your World and Mindful Schools, both of which have really fantastic peace and mindfulness resources. And that's it. You can find LEAP at FLP Leap on Facebook and Instagram, or you can email us with questions at leap@freelibrary.org. So those are just a couple of examples of what you can do for Peace Day Philly, but practicing peace doesn't have to just be in September. It could be any day of the week. Thanks for joining, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.